Hi and welcome back to my channel. So I think that this video will be sort of a weekend vlog again. I had plans to go on a motorcycle trip, but there is risk for rain, so I've had to rethink my plans. So I think I will spend some time reading, maybe go to the library, do some cooking. Maybe I will do sort of a mini trip for a few hours if there's no rain. So we will see. But one thing that I know that I will be doing is to read this book. It is The Dark Half by Stephen King. I have the Swedish version here, so it has the Swedish title. But I picked this up like a month ago when I was in Sweden at a secondhand bookstore. And like I've mentioned before on this channel, I've never read Stephen King. So this weekend I'm going to rectify that and try this book out. I think that this is one of Stephen King's sort of lesser known work, but I'm very excited to give it a try. As I understand it, this book is about a writer who also writes under a pseudonym. So like his sort of like literary work is done like under his own name, but then he writes sort of thriller mysteries under a separate pseudonym. And then he decides to kill off his pseudonym. So he reveals that he is the man behind this pseudonym, and he decides to kill off the writer, so to speak. But then it turns out that the pseudonym doesn't want to stay dead. And the pseudonym is called George Stark, which is why the Swedish title is Stark. Yeah, so I think that sounds pretty interesting. So I will read this book throughout the weekend and sort of give you updates on my thoughts, and if I'm liking Stephen King, if it's living up to the hype. But I think I will be pretty kind to this book, since it's not one of his classics. Like, I've never heard anyone speak about this book before, so I will be kind, but still I'm very intrigued to see how it is. So it's a bit later now, and I've been reading in my Stephen King book, and I have things to say. So I want to read a little bit more first, and then I will make an update on my thoughts. But I also took a look at the library website here in Nice, and I saw that one of the books I want to read is available at the local library here, so the library that's just down the street from me. So I'm going to take a walk and go there and pick that book up, and then get back home and continue reading, I think, and yeah, let you know how things are going. So I made it back from the library, and it was a successful trip. I will do a more proper haul later, but I will show you quickly what I got. So I went there to pick up this book. It's Harry Potter 6. And like everyone else, I read Harry Potter when I was a kid, and I read it first in Swedish, then in English. And when I started learning French more seriously, I started rereading them in French. So I made it up to book 6 now, so I'm getting towards the end. So looking forward to reading this. And then I picked up this book by Modiano, and I've been wanting to read him ever since I first heard of him when he won the Nobel Prize maybe 10 years ago. So yeah, I will be reading this one. And then they also have a section where you can pick up books for free. They give them to you. So I saw a John Grisham thriller, which I think is perfect for summer, just to like bring to the beach. You don't have to be careful about it. It won't be the best piece of literature you've ever read, but like a thriller at the beach is like always fine, I think. So yeah, that's what I picked up. Now I will continue with my Stephen King book. and get back to you later. So it's now later in the afternoon and I've had my lunch and I've been sitting on my balcony reading my first Stephen King book, and it's been very exciting. It's sort of what I had expected. This book I would categorize as a thriller slash, a thriller with some supernatural elements, I would say. And I didn't really know that going in. I knew that it was going to be a thriller, but it wasn't obvious that it was going to be supernatural. There were hints, like in the description of the book, but like it could also like the mystery in the novel could also have like natural causes. But now that I've read a portion of the book, I think that it's very unlikely that the explanation to the mystery is going to be natural. I think it's going to be supernatural. And I know that Stephen King is writing in that genre, so that's nothing strange. I was thinking maybe that it was going to be more towards like horror, but I would not say that this is a horror book. I haven't really felt scared in reading this book. There are some very like violent like descriptions, like graphic descriptions of violence, but they're very short and it's like it's not really the focus of the book. But I can definitely see that Stephen King is a horror writer, because some of those descriptions are very graphic, and like and I wasn't really prepared for it, so it was quite surprising when they came. But that's fine. I don't really mind that kind of stuff. So it's just interesting to see. And yeah, so I'm really enjoying it so far. I don't really feel like I can comment on Stephen King's language because I'm reading a translation. This is a Swedish translation, so I don't feel like it's fair to judge a writer's writing when I'm reading a translation. So that will have to wait until I read one of his books in English. But the pacing I think is fine. It's pretty fast paced, which I enjoy, especially in a thriller. There has been some moments where it's been like a bit too slow, and like it's been like too much information, or like scenes with his family, which I don't find that interesting. But overall, it's really it's been a fun read so far. Very interesting, and I'm definitely interested in picking up more Stephen King and reading more of his like famous books, because I know that this is not one of his more well-known work, and I can see why. This is not a great book so far. Like it's a 3-star, I would guess, like fun to read, but nothing really special. So yeah, I will like continue reading this today and tomorrow, and I hope to finish it tomorrow. So yeah, let's see if I will continue enjoying it or if it's going downhill from here. So yeah, talk to you later. So it's now Sunday afternoon and I finally finished my first Stephen King book. So that's very exciting. And what do I have to say? Well, I didn't love this book, but I did enjoy it. Like I said before, this is not one of Stephen King's most famous books, so I don't think it's fair to judge him based on this book. I still want to read more of his like more famous work to really get a grasp of who he is as a writer. And I know that he writes in so many genres, and this is like thriller slash supernatural, and I know that he writes like non-supernatural thrillers, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, like whatever. So I know that there is so much more to explore, and like I said before, this is a Swedish translation, so it's very hard for me to judge the language. So I really want to pick up some of his books in English going forward. I do have one book that I bought in French, so I will not be able to judge the language based on that book either. And then I have one book from the library by Stephen King also, which is also in French. So so I can't really use that either to judge him. But I want to read something like maybe Carrie or Pet Sematary or something like that in English, and then really see or The Shining. The Shining I'm really I really want to read. So I feel like after I read some of those books and in English, then I can make a more like informed judgment about Stephen King. But like I said, I really enjoyed, not really, but I enjoyed reading it. But it's like a 2.5 to 3 star for me, not much more than that. It was pretty fast to read. It was pretty fast paced, even though sometimes it could be a bit of a drag, I would say. But overall, it was pretty fast to read. So yeah, I'm really glad that I finally have read a Stephen King novel. I feel much more educated and cultured because of it. So it was a good time. So I don't think I'm going to close out the video just yet. I want to do like a library haul, because yesterday I went to the library that's just just down the road from where I live. But today I also went to the library in town, the big library, to borrow some books. So I do want to make a little haul of that. So I think that's to come in the video, and maybe then I will close it out. So yeah, see you in the next clip, whatever that is. So I have been to the library twice this weekend, so I thought it would be fun to do a little library haul. First I went to the library that's just down the road from me, and I went there to pick up this book. It's Harry Potter 6 in French, and as I've said many times on this channel, I am rereading Harry Potter as an adult in French, because I started rereading them to improve my French, and I don't like to leave things unfinished. So I'm now on book 6, so I'm getting to the end. I only have one book left after this one, but I am really enjoying sort of reliving my childhood through Harry Potter. But when I was there, I found some other books that I sort of like the look of as well. This one is Villa Triste by Patrick Modiano, and he's a French writer, and he got the Nobel Prize back in 2014. And I'm going to be honest and say that I had never heard of him before that, but I was only 23 at the time, so I think that I'm sort of excused. But ever since I have been wanting to read him, but I haven't taken the time. But now I saw this at the library, and it really like interests me. This one I think is about, this book is from 1975, I believe, and it's set in the 60s, and it's about two young people. I think one is a like 18-year-old boy who's sort of on the run, and he's living under a fake name, and it takes place on the border between France and Switzerland. And the other person is a young woman, a girl who's sort of a like famous, like a movie star, if I understand correctly. I don't know too much about it. Because I don't want to know too much about it. I want it to be a surprise when I read it. But I am really looking forward to reading this book. And then at the exit of the library they have like a box where they have books that people have donated that they give away for free. So I took a look and I found a John Grisham thriller. It's translated into French, and the translation was made by Dominique Dufer. And I know that John Grisham is not like the world's best writer. I haven't read anything by him, but I think he's just like another thriller writer. But summer is coming up, and I think it's perfect to have like a book like this to like just bring to the beach. I really enjoy reading like thrillers, like lying on the sunbed on the beach or by a pool. So I think it will be perfect for that. And if I understand correctly, this one is about a bookshop owner in Florida who like deals with like old books, like more valuable books, and a manuscript like or a book by F. Scott Fitzgerald is stolen from the university library at Princeton, and the police are sort of suspecting this book dealer down in Florida. So someone is sent in to like infiltrate his friend group to like solve the mystery. So I think that sounds kind of fun. So then I went into the big library here in Nice, in the city center, and there I picked up 4 books. And the first one is Stephen King, Colorado Kid. It's a very small one, very unusual for Stephen King, I feel like. And this one is about a 20-year-old murder mystery and a young journalist that comes into a small town in like New England to, and I guess she doesn't come there to solve the mystery, but I think she sort of gets dragged into this, or maybe like from the start she's already involved. I don't really know, but I think it sounds very interesting. And then I picked up The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, which I've heard so much about. I think like it's such a famous book and such a hated book. It's sort of like the Coldplay of books. Like it's so popular with so many people, but then there are like people who are more into books, I feel like, really like to hate on this book. So I'm very curious to see why they hate it so much. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this book. And this one is a translation into English by Alan R. Clark. So it's going to be very interesting to see why people have such strong opinions about this book. Next up is also Stephen King, but this is his book on writing. And this one is also the French version because I picked it up here at the library in France. And so it's also translated, and it's translated by William Olivier Desmond. I'm not sure if he's American or French or English maybe, but yeah. So I've sort of started to write a little bit myself. And I've heard that this book is really good for people who want to learn more about writing. There are many books about this topic, but like I've heard good things about this one, so I'm very much looking forward to reading this one and see if I can learn something. I find it quite hard to find the flow with writing, so I'm really hoping that this one can help me. And last but not least, I picked up the second volume by Proust in the Search of Lost Time series. It's a series of 7 books. However, I made a mistake because this is volume 2, but it's the deuxième partie of the second volume. So I need to read the first part of the second volume first. So this one I won't be able to read yet. So I will have to return this and find the first part to read that one first. So that's a bit of a shame, I feel like, but yeah, that's my fault for not doing proper research before going there and being stupid. So yeah, but that's all the books I picked up at the library. So I have a lot to read. So I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.